Better marketing, perhaps. Better product, perhaps. But in all events, 3.5 million people watch junior hockey in this country this year. And part of the credit, I think, has to go to Ed Chynoweth, who joins us now, the president of the Canadian Hockey League. If this is the best you can offer, you're doing pretty good.
Thank you very kindly, Peter. Obviously, we're very happy. I think it goes without saying that Ontario, particularly the Ontario Hockey League and the city of Hamilton, certainly showed their colors today. It's an all-Ontario final, and that's fine from our standpoint, but to have 17,500 in here, the ovation when we kicked it off was just fantastic. I think it's really what major junior hockey is all about.
Well, there were a lot of concerns because of some of the problems that were that occurred here over the last couple of months, and when they finally got it sorted out, there wasn't a lot of time to sell tickets for the organizing committee. They have come through.
They certainly have. I think it's a credit, as I say, to the numerous people involved, particularly the Ontario Hockey League and the city of Hamilton and all their workers. I think when you look at the overall situation of the format that we have to use, it makes it very, very awkward. You make one bad decision a year in advance of selecting a site, comes back to haunt you. This is kind of, I guess, a nice finish to something that didn't start out as well as everyone had hoped it was going to be.
Next year, the tournament is in Quebec. The Quebec League still has to decide on a site. What has been learned here that will be applied by the CHL in the future?
I don't think there's any doubt that the Canadian Hockey League will be much more involved in future Memorial Cups from the standpoint of having a mechanism or having ways and means of putting things into effect that we have the right to pull the tournament as opposed to the host league. I think that I would also venture to say that there might even be some changes forthcoming that we're certainly looking at. We've started a 5-year program or a 5-year look at where we're going. I think that a lot of things that are happening in the last couple of years we're pleased with. But I think if we don't change or aren't prepared for change, we're just kidding ourselves. We're in the 90s, and major junior hockey played right is probably as exciting a product as there is in the hockey business today.
Well, let's get back to next year. Le Colisée and the Montreal Forum are the two biggest buildings in the province. If the Quebec League, for its own reasons, decides it wants to go to Robert Guertin Arena, perhaps in Hull, what about the Canadian Hockey League's response?
Well, I think there's ways around that. I think if we go to a smaller building, then we have to put more onus on that particular city or that particular club who's hosting it. There's no sense kidding anybody. It's a business. We certainly want to generate some dollars, and I think it's an obligation that we're going to be responsible for. Every year, Peter, it gets a little more expensive to host it. Next year, for example, we're going to increase the official party from 25 to 28. The difference in cost to operate in Ontario and Quebec is considerably different than it is out west. These are things that we have to change. The other area that I think is exciting is that I think we've done a pretty good job in trying to sell our product. We owe a lot of support or thank yous to our corporate sponsors. The TSN National Game of the Week has been a big bonus for us. We had some great hockey games. I'd like to be able to suggest or think that maybe we're coming of age. At least I hope we are.
Well, it's been a good hockey game. It's been a great cup tournament, and it's been a great season. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you very kindly, Peter.
Ed Chynoweth, the president of the Canadian Hockey League.